Hey everybody, it's Matthew Kern. It's our Monday night call, and I'm here with Kate Gallahue, and I'm so excited to have you here, Kate. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. So this is a great interview for me. I'm pretty excited about this because I've known you for a couple years now. You're one of our main community leaders, and you are in Uniquely You and Uniquely Yours, and you're going to have the opportunity to talk about that. But really, what we're going to talk about is how you turned your passion and your vision into a reality. Um, so let's go through that. Introduce yourself real quickly, talk about who you are and why do you do what you do?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. And I am Kate Gallahue. I live in Midland, Michigan, and I am a certified Optavia coach and now a community builder in Convene. But prior to that, I practiced pediatric medicine for about 19 years. And I often would do a lot of the adolescent care and was starting to see a lot of kids just really struggling, and more so in the past few years than I'd ever seen. And I attribute a lot of that to the pandemic, but it's been happening for a while. And I think social media and things like that are partly to blame. But I feel like we started living in a world where we were a lot more divided on things or feeling like we can't talk about the sensitive topics that a lot of kids need to talk about. We also, as parents, we're really not knowing how to support our kids who are growing up in this age of digital connection. We don't understand the reality that they live in and not sure quite how to support them. So I feel like there was such a need for community to help people learn to thrive. And I personally had gone through a bit of a health transformation, not a bit, a major health transformation of my own, where I connected with a coach and I was immersed into an authentic virtual community where I found healing for myself. And along the way, I realized that you can build meaningful relationships with people in a virtual space and utilize tools and gain support. And I figured that there was a big need in my patient population and in the parents that I was seeing, that would there be a way to support people by creating a safe, moderated, healthy space online that similar to what I was given, but where anybody seeking to belong to an authentic community could find that hope and healing and realize that they aren't alone in a lot of the things that people weren't talking about. And also through my health coaching, I'd learned so many tools for building emotional wellness and creating health. And I wanted to really plant those tools into kids' laps and parents' laps. And I really fell in love with creating a healthier family dynamic. You can't help your child unless, as a parent, you're willing to work on some things yourself and become your own best version so that you can work on things together. So I had a vision one day,
Yeah.
Matt, that I woke up and thought, this could work. And um, not sure why it came my way, why I woke up with this feeling that I couldn't shake, that I if this could be a thing, I really felt that it could be a meaningful way to help our young adults and teens heal and our parents find hope. So I
So you
sat
wrote it
down and
down, right?
I
You wrote
did,
it
I
down. So
did,
you sat
yes.
there and wrote like a white paper about this.
Yeah. One morning, after this vision had happened and I thought about it, I thought, you know what, I need to just jot some ideas down. What could this look like? And how in the world am I going to do this as a PA and a health coach, who is not real techie myself? I have some creative bones in my body, but from a perspective of building a website, or I thought about, should this be a Facebook group? And I just typed. I wrote down what I wanted it to look like. I wanted there to be members mentoring members through their stories and experiences. I wanted there to be groups where people could find a like-minded community within a bigger community. So, for example, student athletes connecting with other student athletes, Christian teens connecting with other Christian teens, creatives connecting with creatives, and then maybe some other deeper topics like um, maybe a kid who has cancer, something like that. And only somebody with cancer who truly understands what they're walking through can really relate. So that's what I was looking for. And I wanted also a space where professionals could share tools because I knew that the mental health profession was overburdened and there was not enough help available. And some kids just needed tools and concepts and a new mindset shift. And so, could I have all of these things? I had no idea, but that's what I wanted. And I just started to talk about it with a lot of people and started to ask some coaches and teachers and some counselors like yourself, Matt, and just said, this is a vision I have or a dream. And if I could make it a reality, would you be interested in being a part of this in some way? Whether you share it with the kids you work with, or maybe you have some tools you could bring my way that I could put into this. It's almost like a health bubble for people or a healthy community that we could create. And they thought it sounded like a great idea. And sure, I'd be happy to help. Let me know what I can do. But I kind of spun my wheels on it for a while. Um, until one day I happened to be vacationing with Jeff Bateson, who happens to be on this call with us tonight. And Jeff and I were vacationing in the same spot with some mutual friends. And I knew, being that he was a high school teacher, that Jeff saw a lot of what I was seeing, most likely in his also in his soccer players that he coached. And sure enough, he had been seeing a lot of decline in their emotional well-being, a lot of disconnect, a lot of just sudden anxiety, and um, kids were losing their spark. Some of them were really having some dark times. And he loved the idea, but said, Kate, I can't believe you're sharing this with me because everything you've just said, I have the perfect platform for you. I've been working on it for, I think at that time, it was probably 5 years he'd been working with you. And let's connect when we get home. So
Yeah.
we did. And Matt, your platform has everything I needed. I really feel that was some type of divine intervention that brought me to you because I can't believe that everything I hoped for and wrote on that paper was available to put into my communities that now exist in Convene.
Exactly. So talk a little bit about your two communities. You have
Yeah.
Uniquely Yours and you
Hmm.
have Uniquely You. What are they, and what's the difference between the two?
Okay. Yeah. So Uniquely Yours is my parent site. It's meant for sharing of knowledge and stories. Really, the members add the most value to the lives of one another. And I learned in pediatric medicine that um, a lot of the knowledge and tips I ended up passing on came from parents who were a step ahead of me and shared them with me. It wasn't my textbooks. So here I was, the quote unquote expert, but really you're only the expert in your own story. So I wanted to give people a space where they could feel like, oh, thank God it's not just me, that's going through these things. Or if you are in a new phase of parenthood, you could ask a question. So, what you have in Uniquely Yours and Uniquely You, which is my teen and young adult site, you have a discussion board where you can ask a question. How do I personally ask, how do I connect with my teenage son? I'm the mom of a teenage boy for the first time this past year. And so I can ask that anonymously or as myself, and then members can answer anonymously or as themselves. So it just helps really add an element of comfort, especially if you're going to share something a little more vulnerable. Um, you utilize something to Matt called experiential learning. And so we have a section, really Convene is built for, it's a learning management system built for collaboration and storytelling. And so the members who join can take an experience where they can watch a story that's shared by another member or by a professional, and they relate it. They get a question, they relate it to their own life, and then they submit their answer for how it it related to their own life, and then they see everybody's answers. So it's collaborative learning. All those answers are anonymous. So we're really excited about what's happening right now in our teen site. Jeff, my partner in Uniquely You and Uniquely Yours, who brought me to Convene, is doing some testing of these experiences in his high school classrooms, giving them kind of an emotional wellness day to explore the platform, to see how its features vary substantially from what they're used to on social media. It takes getting used to. It's a learning environment. So you come there with an intent to encourage others. You come with an intent to learn. You come with an intent to share. So you've used the word ecosystem, and I really truly believe that that's what this is. It's a health bubble, or a healthy environment to foster learning and sharing. And so I'm just really excited that when somebody enters these communities, they feel they receive and add value equally, and that they belong. So
Yeah,
it gives
absolutely.
everyone a
Some
voice.
exciting things are happening. But first, the anonymity is so big because, and remember, everybody can play a part in this. So we've had teens come in and write about anonymously about things they've gone through in school. And then we've had other people come alongside of them and answer them anonymously or as themselves, which is really pretty cool because you see that peer-to-peer going on. You see them able to communicate. You mentioned the experiential learning and the experiences. The experience that has been taken the most on the platform, thanks to Jeff and how he's been working with the students, is one that was written by my daughter, Lainey, who's 18. And so I want you to talk about that a little bit, because there's some, if you're talking about experiential learning and how we can relate to each other about some topics and some sensitive topics, this experience takes people through a journey. And you and I go back to these two answers that are in there all the time, but then also talk about how it translates to the lessons learned, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, so these are high school students taking an experience where Lainey wrote all of the things that make her who she is. Some of them were hurts that she's had, some of them were fears that she's had, some of them were just characteristics that make her who she is, like the color of her eyes that she inherited kind of in a unique way from the rest of you. And so after she shares where what makes her who she is, um, for example, I am from the clouds as my father flew through the air as a combat veteran, and all of that. You can imagine how that felt as a girl growing up. So she shares all of this, and then we ask the user of this experience, what makes you who you are? And don't tell me where you're from. I want to know what really has shaped you into who you are today. And remember, your answers are anonymous. So when Jeff put the kids through this experience in particular, we got some really deep things. Once we gave them that option for anonymity, we got kids who were saying they were essentially raising their siblings by themselves. And that life was really hard. However, despite the hard, I've learned to use music and writing as ways of coping. I've learned to surround myself with people who make me happy and let go of toxic relationships. I've learned to live in ways that make me feel happy and not how everyone else tells me I should live. So this clearly was a student with a growth mindset. Even though they had adverse circumstances, they've learned along the way how to get through them and navigate. The very next user was, I'm from depression and anxiety, and parents who don't know that kids go through hard things too. And I'm from the feeling of not ever being heard, and that was the end. So when you read that, because you will read everybody's, that particular user would read the one above and learn and be mentored by a peer that they know was in their classroom. So that was really a neat, eye-opening thing for us to say, wow, these kids are mentoring each other and don't even know it. And I think really peer-to-peer mentorship is so valuable, because sometimes you'll sit I would sit with the stethoscope. I didn't wear a white coat in the exam room, but it took me sharing vulnerable parts of my own life to really reach a kid and
Yeah.
say, I see you, I hear you, I understand what that feels like. And that's what this space gives to kids is they move on to that lesson learned, and what, because they could see from each other and what those answers were previous, a lot of them said, I've learned that it's okay to talk about myself and hard things that I'm going through. I'm I've learned that although these things are hard, they're temporary and they're not going to last forever. And I'll probably not be even dealing with the same things, in a year from now. So
It
it's
was
an
amazing. And
awesome opportunity to see them picking up some life lessons just from something as simple as your daughter's poem.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's neat.
And we talk about this all the time, right, Kate? People want to be seen, heard, and validated. That means they
Hmm.
want to be a part of it. They want to just feel like they're heard. They want
Yeah.
to know that there are other people. And that's what Convene's able to do. It's able to let you know that you're not walking alone. And that's the main thing that I like to stress and put out there is you're not walking alone. You're walking with other people that are going through the same things that you're going through. And that's one of the reasons why, you mentioned being an Optavia coach. I love that because you go into Optavia and you know that you're walking this health journey with others, right?
Yeah.
That you're not the only one who might be struggling with certain things and you're hearing these other stories. Um, and then it brings into the thing, the know, like, and trust, right? We talk about that all the time. Is that we're building a know, like, trust space, a safe place where people can come in and feel like, you know what? It's okay if I get a little bit vulnerable. It's okay if I talk about my struggles. It's like us sitting around the table as parents and going, "Hey, Kate, you have kids, you have two boys. If you were in this situation, how would you handle it?" And you're going to pull from your life story. You're going to pull from your things that you've gone through, and that's what I'm going to pull for. And we can ask Jeff and ask Eugene and everybody else on the call the same question, and we're going to get the back and forth, and it's going to be now it turns into a shared learning environment. I don't have you said it right. Just because you're a PA, you don't have the answers for everything. Just because I'm a counselor, I don't have the answers for everything. So it's that shared learning environment. And that's what you are looking for. And what's happened is you've taken your passion and your vision, and I just gave you the resource to put it in there.
Correct. Yeah. And we have other professionals now, which is really exciting. I don't believe I have all the answers. I have some. Some of it comes from my own experience or just my medical background. But now I've also got a brain health professional in there teaching parents about how their child's brain could be misfiring in cases like ADHD and depression, anxiety, etc., and what they can do. So it's empowering them with tools for how to navigate some of those mental illnesses with their child, and also help them cope. And then we have a woman from the Foundation for Family and Community Healing and her team that have courses for navigating things like anxiety and how can you connect better as a family and build healthy relationships and connect and heal through even connection with the earth, things like that. So it's really cool at various concepts that people can pick and choose, but these are professionals that can be trusted. So we're just not getting the negative stuff
Yeah.
from the outside world. This is the space you come with intentionality to
Yeah.
heal, connect, communicate, collaborate, be
Yeah.
educated, just basically all the reasons you envisioned creating this space for people.
So I was on a call earlier today, and I told you this earlier, but I was on a call earlier today, and after I got done talking about Convene, this one guy said it. He said, "I want to make a comment." He goes, "From what you just showed me and everything you're talking about," he said, there's other things out there. He said, "But you've taken and made a site that's personable. You've made a site where people can come together and work together for a shared vision." And that's really what we want. So talk about that for a minute. Like, what's the next steps? Now we built the foundation. You've built the foundation inside of it. We've laid the foundation with good discussion boards, good groups. We've started that, great experiences. We've had kids that have taken it, adults that have taken it. What's next? Where do you want to go from here?
Yeah, thank you for asking that because I knew I wanted this space, but I didn't quite know how it was going to shape out or shake out, in terms of how these groups would form and things like that. And really, what we're finding is we never want to replace human connection when possible. So, if someone doesn't have an opportunity to connect with a small group, we have that larger virtual community that they can be a part of. But we're also finding that this can be a beautiful resource for people who lead Bible studies or they have a small group of kids that maybe it's a youth group or maybe it's I even have envisioned kids who do peer-to-peer mentorship in a school, and Jeff is actually working with his students to build this within. So basically, the kids are leading other kids. It's a leadership opportunity, and they can work with one another. So when they take these experiences or read the discussion board, they know these are my peers. So
Yep.
even if it's anonymous, it almost increases a little bit of empathy, knowing, wow, I'm going to school with these people, and it almost puts their own life in perspective of if they're getting through their hard stuff, so can I.
Yep.
So Convene ends up then being more of like a leave behind mat where you might have your weekly youth group or your meeting where your peer-to-peer meeting, and then you continue conversation. So it's not Kate and Jeff show mentoring the whole world. That's or moderating the whole world, I should say. It's really, you'll have a group leader and we can create these micro communities of healing within Uniquely You and micro communities of healing within Uniquely Yours. If maybe
Yep.
there's somebody who wants to lead a small parenting group or a book study to talk about issues surrounding parenting, those are perfect opportunities for people to use what we have. And again, it's a resource. And now I'm trained because you've trained me for use learning the site and all its features that I can help someone plug in and
Yep.
create their own group and just get rolling with it. It's built. You just have to plug the people in and make a video to tell them how to use it because it's different. It takes a little playing, but it's very user friendly.
And from the convenient community aspect, from our side, we allow nonprofits to use it for free. And there's a lot, people, and why do we do that? Because people that run nonprofits have hearts of gold. They're out there trying to make a difference with people. And so, again, a convened group can be a support group. It can be a group if you find out, let's say, for example, that maybe your child has type 1 diabetes and it's something new that you're venturing into. Could you come in and could you have a support group that is there to support people who are just starting to walk into that space that's so different and maybe confusing? Those are things that's my dream. That's what I hope that this site can become. That's what I hope and pray that we just become the resource for all parents out there. There's so many
Mhm.
things, kids with ADHD, ADD, there's you name it. And there's people out there that do that, right? And so I'm not
Yeah.
an expert in that. There's this thing. Parents struggle with how to work with their kids and how to deal with it. Can we bring parents in to talk about how to navigate using phones? Because I'm telling you, as a counselor, there's right and wrong ways about how to be parent with phones. I don't have all the answers, but I got a lot of good ideas because I have a 25, a 22, and an 18-year-old now that we've had to navigate through. So can we come together? There's nothing off the table. We want to really, really and truly grow these communities. What I want to do now is kind of change the view, bring everybody in here. And I want to ask anybody if you guys have any questions for Kate or comments about the site, about what you guys do or what you want to see happen. Eugene, anybody?
Yeah, I was just going to say, how do you plan on using the discussion board, Kate? Just due to a lot of confidentiality, or is it primarily going to really emphasize the anonymous feature? Is kind of what your plan is, or
Well, I think that's up to the user if they want to remain anonymous or not. That there isn't anything that I would share regarding someone else's story, but in terms of if I was going to ask about how to navigate a situation with my own child, I would use the anonymous feature, unless they gave me permission to share that piece of what we're going through as a family. So I I encourage people though, and what we'll do is if I get private messages that come my way, what we encourage people to do is go and ask that in the discussion board so that other people can learn, and then they can use the anonymous feature just to protect their own identity, if it's a sensitive topic or if they just choose to. But we really want this to be shared knowledge. So if I'm spending time private messaging someone back, I would rather answer them. And then the discussion board has a search feature. So if you are looking for something like cell phone safety or whatever, internet safety ideas, they can search for a topic and see if there's a post that's already taken place about that. So that's how we are finding the most success with discussion board use within other communities, and how Jeff and I would plan to use it in Convene. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah, Kate, quickly. It's Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
If people are interested in reaching out and becoming part of Uniquely You and Yours, whether as a member or as a contributor, what's the best way to do that for them?
Well, we do have a link that we can share with them. In the very near future, I'll also have a very simple landing page with a welcome video so they can decide if taking that next step in creating an account is going to be something they wish to do. So it'll kind of give them an overview of what you and I have created in there, as well as a brief tutorial. So once they're in, they know exactly how to navigate. So that will be an easy place for them to go. I just don't have that opportunity to give them access to the page just yet. So if they'd like a link, we can definitely share that. If you'd want to share that in our chat, we can certainly do that for now. But reaching out to one of us via Facebook, I'm Kate Landis Gallahue, and on Facebook, and I can gladly send them a private link. And I know you are on Facebook as well, Jeff Bateson. And
Yeah, I'll
we
throw in
can
there
get
just
you
to back
rolling.
you up too. You can go to convenecommunities.com. That's an easy way to go there. And then there's join links from there, and you can join. And once you're inside of Convene, you can find Uniquely You or Uniquely Yours. And then there's messaging obviously built within. Obviously, I can answer questions. Jeff, Kate, Eugene, anybody can answer questions and drive you into the right place. So that's a wonderful question, Jeff, because we want people to come. We want contributors. We want people to be a part of the growth of this community. So, but that's maybe one of the easier places to get to, convenecommunities.com, or get back to the person that shared this video with you, because I think this video will be shared out quite a bit. I really do. Anybody else? Any other comments?
I'll ask a question.
Okay.
Conveniently, you mentioned T1D. My daughter was diagnosed in January, so we're navigating that. But my question is, in the Facebook communities that I'm part of, they can get very overwhelming with a lot of people in there, thousands and thousands of people. How do you plan to, do you cap like the number of people that could be in a community so it doesn't get so overwhelming? What does that look like?
Yeah, so the answer is no, we don't cap it, but it's a little bit more controlled than what a Facebook community would be, and it always will be. The idea is, we want to build communities of interest, but inside we want the groups to be so people spread out in the groups, and I think they will. And then what you'll see, it's not as chaotic as what a Facebook group would be. Things are way more structured inside of a Convene group or a Convene community. And that's so important. And for example, when you put discussion boards in and you put experiences in, they stay very organized inside of there. They don't get buried. You don't put stuff in a Convene, like if you put a comment in a Facebook group, it's there today, it's gone tomorrow, and you might be able to find it or you might not. If you came into, let's say there was a group about type 1 diabetes, and documents are very big, but let's say you had some documents that you wanted to share. documents are very organized. You can do it in folders, you can do it there. So you know exactly where your content is. If there is, that can be done in community, that can be done in group, that can even be done in experiences like we're talking about. So you can take those documents and really be very organized with it. You can have, for example, modules. So you can have training on type 1 diabetes, or somebody coming in, let's say they're new to type 1 diabetes, and you want to walk them through what it is, but it's also collaborative learning. They take the experiences and then they go right back to the discussion board. If somebody goes and responds to a discussion board and it's way down here, it pops back up to the top because there's been activity in it. So it's, again, the organization is better. I don't think that we'll see the overwhelming, because it's just not, it's not Facebook. It's not going there and pop a comment, put a like. It's not structured that way. And it's very, again, some of the differences is we're self-monitoring. We're growing groups. What Kate and Jeff will be teaching people, they will be growing their community, and they will be teaching people to grow their groups. And so, yes, they may come in through the community and they'll end up down in their groups, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Mac, if I can answer or add into that, something else that is a focus of especially uniquely you and yours. Although we do want as many people that would like to be a part of the community and the groups to be a part that want to be, can be. But our discussions, our experiences, our topics, our collaborations are pretty intentional and pretty focused. So I think that like Matt was saying, it's not going to just be a lot of sporadic comments. It's going to be more focused comments, more focused topics, more focused discussions. And then the other part of that is even in communities, but specifically in groups, making them private groups. Now you're only allowing people that you want in your group, right? So again, it's a little bit more intentional in that respect.
Yeah, you could have a local, like a T1D group for just people in your local area, Shannon, that is private. And so groups can be public for all parents helping children with chronic illnesses or T1D specifically. But if you ever chose to lead a private group, then you can break that down even further. That would probably go in what we call a subgroup of the T1D community, where you can still gain value from like a bigger, broader community, but you have the opportunity to lead a small private group within it. So then it's not so overwhelming and it feels more intimate. And that's the great opportunity to meet in person, then carry conversation on, like we talked about. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Hopefully that answers your question. So again, it's a different environment. Like, it's a different environment. And I hope and pray that that's what we're that's what we're providing here, that we're providing a place where people can come in when they are literally unsure about what's going on in life. And they don't, they're looking for those connections, and we can provide those connections. So yeah, I appreciate it. Good question. Hopefully that helped. So Kate, thank you so much for being a part of this tonight. It's just been wonderful, working with you and Jeff. And Jeff, not that you're excluded tonight, was talking about Kate and her vision. You're just as much an importance of uniquely you and uniquely yours. But I think it's amazing that, Kate wrote this down, put it on paper, and here we are. Convene is a resource. That's what it is. We've built an amazing resource, and Eugene's been and Jeff have been working on this for many, many years with me, getting it to the place that we're finally there and where we're at. And that's what we want people to know. We want people to know it is a resource. It's nothing more. It is a resource to bring people together and to help people. And if we can lift people up each and every day, then we're hitting the mark. And that's what we're here to do. So I really appreciate everybody being on, and Kate, really appreciate you talking about everything that you talked about tonight. I'll give you the last words.
Oh, I'm just grateful for the opportunity to have been able to make the dream a reality, and thankful to Jeff. Without Jeff offering this opportunity to me, it wouldn't have happened. So we are building as we go, but it does take users to add value, and really it's their community as much as ours. So we're excited to watch the growth happen, and for people to be a part of that process, because I think we really want to help people find hope and healing in a world that's feels kind of turbulent right now. It's just kind of an escape from that, where you feel you can talk about things that we don't elsewhere. So
All right,
thank
if
you
want-
for all your.
Yeah, thank you. If you want to know more, just get in touch with one of us. We're looking for groups. We're looking for people who want to make a difference. And so we hope you come and join the Convene family. So thanks for watching this video. Thanks, guys.